At my table. I remember hosting a recipe book launch for a former student at the high school where I served as principal. One reviewer wrote, "Faye Lewis presents timeless recipes for any occasion, with photographs that look good enough to eat." The principal in me loved the title, At My Table. I often think of the wealth of experience and expertise at my table in the office or in the staff room. The ingredients are all there, but the recipe only works if we bring our best to that table and work together to create a winning product. Once a month, nearly 20 PAT principals sit around a table in a hall, library or staff room in a different Western Cape school. The host principal introduces his or her school's vision, its history, the community it serves, its daily challenge, its highlights, and usually its senior learners, impressive in their uniforms and their warm, welcoming smiles. Meeting our host principal is, in effect, the clearest window into the special quality of this school. We walk our way to just one room, but we get a picture of what happens in every classroom in the school. Yes, the principal sets the tone, embodies that vision, and gives us a glimpse of the key indicators: mindset, climate, and excellence. We get on with our meeting at this new table, and I relish watching carefully selected, successful former principals in action as we share insights into supporting principals, building school management teams, and rolling out systems to ensure quality instructional leadership. I struggle a little, my wife would use a different adjective, with my hearing, so I sit strategically at that table with a clear view of my colleagues. What strikes me is the principal in each of us. When I look around that PAT table, I see one legendary figure, principal of 4 schools, who added a priceless ingredient to the recipe: high-quality relationships. That's what brought out the best in each of the stakeholders that combined to make a school great. Another, after being principal of 2 very different schools and after a lifetime interest in the work of leading educationists, wrote 2 books, which for years one found in nearly every principal's office in the country. A favorite at our table is our man from Ceres. He, like another from Bredasdorp, knows every school in the town, the strengths and weaknesses of each, and the town's teachers from the year dot. He mentors all the principals and has the ear of the Ceres citizens, young and old. That community insight is an invaluable ingredient in successful school leadership. Another, who taught from grade R to 12 and who led 2 high-profile schools and coaches principals in Khayelitsha and Stellenbosch, has schooled herself in the science and the craft of modern coaching. She's our mentoring guru. Another, a high school principal, a departmental planner, curriculum specialist, and school development expert, holds a doctorate in education and applied his skills mainly in strategic planning, even as a consultant to the motor industry. Another, a well-known primary school principal and circuit manager from Metro North, has a wealth of contacts within the WCED, throughout his district, its district office, and in business and in health. He may not be able to solve every problem, but he knows someone who can. Another, whom I hugely respect because he has a reputation of being able to fix anything, has a deep understanding of the challenges facing schools on the Cape Flats. He was at Heathfield High School for 34 years, 18 as principal. As an outsider, I know who to ask when I need to understand a sensitive issue. Another, a lifetime principal at 2 famous private primary schools, used every ounce of that experience in leading Crystal House, which serves children from extremely poor and marginalized backgrounds. Another listens intently, and when everyone has spoken, he summarizes and brings his insight into foundation phase teaching and learning to bear with practical strategies. I haven't even mentioned two remarkable women. One who led 4 top schools before being personally selected by Oprah Winfrey to run her school in South Africa, and another who, as principal of the highly performing Siazaka Primary in Browns Farm, Philippi, was coached by Pat, now coaches Pat principals and their coaches. Our outgoing CEO is the chief protagonist of the organogram as the indispensable tool in systems and portfolio management in a school that works. I have left out a few newer experts, but they are very much part of the family. Although every school has that table which seats the SMT, the quality of the discussion, the decision-making, and the collaborative leadership is often very different. Leading that table is a skill which distinguishes the good from the great. As coaches, we try to share that recipe. Look at your table with fresh eyes. Listen with intent. Include with sincerity. And collaborate in the best interests of your school. I'm sure any principal relishes the opportunity to engage other school leaders in how best to serve in the hot seat at that table. No one helps you more effectively than a supportive and practical professional who has personal insight into the strains and stresses of principalship. You can't choose any principal. You have to identify one who shares your commitment to being that lever for change and improvement, both professional and personal. You need to find that colleague quickly, just like you found great ones around the GSB tables. Online meetings have their place, but they don't do it for me. Like any principal, I love that front row seat in the school and my place at the table which brings us together to serve with distinction. Faye has a second cookbook, Be My Guest. As coaches, we are happy to be guests at your tables. Thank you.